Welcome to the Origin Summer Preview with the Dice Tower. In this series, we look at recently released and upcoming games for summer 2014. And now, recorded live at Origins 2014. Here's your host, Ryan Metzler.
Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Metzler, and today I'm here with Ian Brody of Griggling Games, the designer of Destination Neptune, which is what we're going to be taking a look at. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good. So tell us a little bit about your new release.
Okay, Destination Neptune is an optimistic envisioning of the next 100 years of space. Players essentially take on the role of a multinational corporation or government or just a color and expand out through space. It plays a little bit like a Euro game that you are racing to establish factories and colonies, build technology, but you're not really directly competing. I don't like to call it science fiction, I like to call it science extrapolation.
Okay.
All the technology is stuff that's in the works now. Everything that's on there is, researched. The locations have been, researched. So if you're into space, into cosmos, this is going to be really fun.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about how it's going to play out.
Okay. Well, players get a hand of cards. It plays in 4 generations, and essentially you can, during your turn, sell a card to an opportunity track that's kind of a conveyor belt, and then play a card. You don't have to do that, or you can play a card from the opportunity track. So there's an opportunity for the players to pace the game. Usually it goes very fast until the last few turns, and then somebody sees who the winner is, and then things get slower, and the winner trying to rush it, and everybody else is trying to figure out where to get.
Sure. So why don't you walk us through an example turn if you can?
Okay. Right now we're sort of almost set up for the start, so it's a little bit tricky. But for example, if one of the first things I might do would be to say attract investors. Okay. And like a lot of games, there's only a limited number of cards, and the person who plays the card has a better benefit, but everybody gets to play something. So for the attract investors, you get 5 credits, which is $100 billion about. Right, and everybody else gets 2.
I mean, who doesn't have $100 billion?
Right, sure. I like to play as Branford Richardson. And so essentially you give out tokens. Now, for example, a technology would be a very common first play. You would take that and you just pay a token to the bank, put your token, pay a credit to the bank, put a token on there, and then you have it. When somebody wants to access that, they give you a credit. So there's a way to make money back.
So you get the technology, but then people can also use it by paying you.
Once it's sort of an open license if you pay, in a sense.
Sure.
Now,
open license.
Right. If different cards give you different amounts of fame, which is sort of a subsystem, technology and research gives you the most fame. You can sell fame for cash. So essentially, you can, when you attract investors, and you can also use fame for victory points. So there's a little bit of a mechanic of figuring out how much fame and how many victory point and how much cash. The victory points, at the end of the 4 generations, the person with the most victory points wins.
Victory points are good.
Right. Essentially, and you'll also get victory points for building factories and colonies. I should say when somebody plays a scoring card, or at the end of a generation there's scoring.
So each player is obviously represented by some ships out here on the board.
Right.
What are we doing with these ships? How are we moving them around, and what are the roles that they're going to take in the game?
Right. Your ships are actually your construction crews.
Okay.
And essentially, once you want to build a base, a factory, or colony, they have to get to the location. And these numbers here are how many fuel tokens it'll cost. Now, a fuel token is generally worth 2 or 3 credits, so it's very expensive to go too far out. However, you have technologies that's going to give you speed bumps. Okay. And so over time, the rest of the solar system becomes more and more available.
Sure. So you're going to want to kind of try and spread out in order to get to different areas.
Exactly.
But want to kind of conserve money, earn up some fame, use that fame to get either more money or to make some victory points, and hopefully get ahead of all of the other players while doing so through the play of these different cards. So right. How the game ends, how again?
At the end of the 4th generation, when the last card is drawn from the deck, the game ends and everybody scores. There's kind of a final scoring which gives extra points, more points for fame, and there's these placards that like give you the person with the most bases, and the person who reaches the furthest out from Earth will get some extra victory points. A lot of times these are kind of like the sort of longest road in Settlers. It could be that sort of, oh, I didn't realize I was going to lose because you had that type of thing.
Sure.
It's a game that has, for people who like to think through and plan, this is a game for you.
Okay.
If you know somebody who takes half an hour to play each turn in Puerto Rico, don't play this game with them.
Okay.
Because that's what they're going to do in this game.
Well, there you go. Know your audience,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
Pitch it to the right audience. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the game before we wrap up here?
Again, if you're into science and if you're into space exploration, this is the game for you.
Okay.
If you're upset that there's no aliens, if you're upset that there's no space pirates, well, maybe we'll do an expansion one day, but right now it ain't there.
All right.
So,
well, thank you for taking the time to show it to us. We appreciate you coming by. Good luck with your new game out on the market. It's available as of today, you said?
Yeah, today is the release date.
Out to distribution. So
that's right.
Check it out if it sounds interesting to you. And thank you for coming by and visiting.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you join us for the rest of our summer preview videos. We'd like to thank Gamma and Origins for making these videos possible. And we hope that all of you have fun gaming. See you next time.